let's talk about domestic terrorism and
Yeah,
the accuracy in the reporting.
there. Unfortunately, I think the media is really good at inflaming in
Right.
opinions, inflaming numbers. They blow up and or they'll stick with one incident and just really milk the hell out of it for the purpose of getting ratings. So I just want to give you some numbers, and these are actual numbers, okay? From according to the CDC, since 2001 to 2014, so we're talking about a time period of 13 years here, right? Only 3,046 Americans have been killed by terrorists, but that includes the number of people who died at the World Trade Center. So if you exclude that one-time event, it's the number is fewer than 100 Americans who've been killed by terrorists. And the reason I bring that up is two reasons. One, to compare the rhetoric that you hear from the politicians, because I know they make, oh, well, terrorism is the greatest threat to America. No, no, according to those numbers, you're far more likely to die from heart disease, high blood pressure, and actually, just compared to other crime in America, during that same time period from 2001 to 2014, again, according to the CDC, there were over 1,053, there were, 153,000 Americans killed by guns in the United States due to homicides. So that's just your average, home invasion, that kind of crime. That did not include people killed by the police or people who committed suicide. So just regular crime. So the greatest threat to America is Americans killing other Americans, not people coming from abroad to kill us. And I think we've got to be very careful, because when you hear these politicians, I'm going to carpet bomb Syria, it's inflammatory. It one, and two, I think we run the risk of creating a rise in hate crimes here, but also in damaging our foreign relations abroad. When you have people like Donald Trump saying we should ban all Muslims, I'm like, really? Does that include people like the King of Jordan, who has been our longtime ally?
But
Does
yeah,
that
they
include?
they keep taking. They don't say the full quote. He says until we figure out what's going on. So that adds to, like, he's not saying he hates Muslims or whatever. He just wants to
But
figure out what's going on.
but
I
does
don't know. I'm not saying I agree with him or not.
okay, okay.
I'm saying there's a nasty thing on both the right and the left to take a quote and say the whole quote.
Right.
You know, oh, Donald Trump says to ban all Muslims. No. He said until we figure what's going on.
But
Okay.
I totally agree. That was the whole thing you said. But again, would you apply that equally to everybody? So, say Saudi businessmen doing business
Well,
here in Houston.
you
I
have
mean,
listen. They told us. All they're all being vetted, right? They're all being vetted. Well, you had that couple that got vetted. The FBI
ah,
came out.
the couple in San Bernardino you're referencing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me give
So,
you an actual statistic on that too. Okay,
no, but
um, last year,
all
if
right,
I
go ahead.
may, last year in 2015, there were 372 mass shootings in the United States. Only one, that couple in Bernardino, were Muslims. So that means 371 mass shootings were not. So that is, again, for all the rhetoric you heard about the San Bernardino, what about the other 371 shootings that did not involve any terrorists?
Where'd you get 371 mass shootings?
That was actually, I believe that was in the New York Times. I can actually get those figures. But yeah, it's 372 were the total mass shootings in the United States, and only one involved any Muslims at all. And actually, there's actually Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky made a point, and I want to get his quote correct, but he said if you look at the mass shootings, they're and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but overwhelmingly most of them were white teenagers with mental illness.
Right.
So so
Uh,
that's
yes, you got to blame it more on the drugs these kids are given
absolutely, absolutely,
than the gun itself or whatever. I mean,
absolutely, I agree.
what- if if you're on drugs like that, gun or not, you'll find out something to kill people. If you have the intent of mass killing, if you can't get a gun, you build a bomb. You'll do something else.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I mean, look, remember Littleton, Colorado? Those two guys in Colorado, the two students, were building a bomb in their basement. I 100% agree with that. But I'm just saying that we can't just say that it's only Muslims committing terrorism when clearly the vast majority here in the United States are not.
Well, no, well, all right, how am I going to put this? The thing is, we don't need the extra terrorism.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too.
I'm concerned with just bringing in mass amount of refugees, and they're not being vetted right.
But,
To get through, and that happens.
I think we need to change the rhetoric that we hear from the politicians in the media that make it sound like all terrorism is Muslims committing these acts.
Well, that's the other stuff. That's not this stuff.
Yeah, well, I just want to, I think we need to keep things in perspective.
For everyone watching out there, Soledad's more on the left, I'm more on the right, but we're trying to come and get some sanity because, right? Let's be honest. All this media, I mean, everyone's pandering to their side.
Absolutely.
And
it's mass hysteria, mass fear. They want people to make fear-based decisions.
And speaking of fear-based decisions,